It may bring you comfort to know that Clive isn't just terrorizing your online games. He's also terrorizing the world-class pro scene. Korea just finished running the Soup Tekken League Finals. This was kind of like an all-stars tournament. They run a league independent of the Tekken World Tour, and this tournament was kind of the culmination of the 2024 season. The top 16 players throughout the season were thrown into a group stage, and this is the top 8 bracket that came out of that. And Clive was picked a lot in this tournament with great success. So I want to highlight some Clive matches from one of the best tournament scenes in the world. If not the best. Korea did win the Esports World Cup and the Tekken World Tour Finals. So, the match I want to focus on is Mulgold versus LowHigh. Mulgold is normally a Claudio player, and the first match he plays in this series is actually with Claudio. He piloted Claudio to a 3rd place finish in the Tekken World Tour Finals, but he ultimately did not qualify for the global final stage. He just had a really advantageous position in the group stage. He's fighting against LowHigh, who is normally a Bryan player, Shaheen player, and Steve player, but is focusing on Bryan mainly. Now, I want to show this match in its entirety, first of 2, before the Clive matches, because Mulgold's Claudio is really, really good. And LowHigh's anti-Claudio is even better. So this set is very fascinating because after an incredible anti-Claudio display, Mulgold pulls out the Clive. Let's check it out. First of 2, Genmaji Temple, the first stage, and LowHigh does pick Bryan. So again, Mulgold, one of the strongest Claudio players we've seen in the world, if not the strongest. But Korea is known for its optimization, its defensive play, except for throw breaks apparently. The reason that happened is because LowHigh breaks 1+2 with the separate buttons instead of using a bind. And Tekken 8 is really strict about that compared to previous Tekkens. So I recommend binding a button if you're going to break 1+2 throws. Heat Burst, tracking the sidewalk with 1+2, and the Heat Burst connects after. We're going to cover that situation at the end of the video, show you some defense for that. But the guard break is going to put Mulgold against the wall again with a very little HP to work with. Down 4, floated out of the running 2. Very nice defensive play from LowHigh. An active choice to jab Mulgold on Claudio's approach. Down forward 1s. Small jab from LowHigh, and then he gets clipped sidewalking. 1-2-1. And then some forward walks, no hitboxes. The reason LowHigh does that is it plays with his attack timing. He can find a stray counter hit or a QCF 1+2. Small down 4 poke. He dashes right away. Not sure about that, but the down 4s are adding up, so clearly it's working. Mach Punch Super Armor, spending the Snake Eyes, and now Mulgold has very little heat to work with. They trade on this hit. The DP is gone. Down forward 1, last pixel, and a duck under the running 2. LowHigh very, very sharp in this anti-Claudio. He runs up and throws. This time Mulgold doesn't breaks that throw. Down 4, and then the back 1 tracks sidewalk to the left. Sidewalking left, Mulgold's forward 4. Super, super sharp. And then he finds a heat burst. This is a very bad situation for Mulgold, but he finds a few hits as LowHigh is caught moving, sidestepping. LowHigh again playing that delayed timing, just moving forward a little bit and then putting out these long-range hits. Now he's slowing it down. Back 1, plus frames. Jab interrupts the 4-2, and then back 1's the sidewalk left again. A quick 3-0 with some beautiful Claudio counterplay. I was so shocked to see that. The fact that Mulgold, who is usually one of the most unpredictable players, like he's so good at putting out hitboxes when you least expect it, was just shut down by LowHigh's defense. But now he switches to Clive. And like I was saying, Korea is very optimized, okay? Yes, Clive is very new, so they don't have as much experience, but you can expect LowHigh to probably deal with the cheese and the power crush, the parry like that pretty effectively. Mulgold's going to use the 1+2 a lot, and he's going to use the forward 1+2 a lot. You could, if you did a drinking game with those moves, you would not survive. 1+2 and forward 1+2. If you did a drinking game every time Mulgold did one of those moves. Now a 1+2 connects, he's in heat, running 2, Phoenix stance mix-up, LowHigh blocks, and he survives the onslaught, stepping a bit away from the wall, trying to get a better position and avoid getting wall broken. Both players stepping away from the wall to try and gain that advantage. Now Mulgold gets a sidewalk left, heat smash, and finds the wall break. You could see them jockeying for that position, but Mulgold gets the high reward interaction and takes the round. Now the floor break is on the table, and Clive's Phoenix stance low threatens the floor break. And I think that affects how the rest of this round plays out. Forward 1+2s and 1+2s over and over and over again. Back 2, and LowHigh ducks the Scarlet Cyclone. I think he's respecting the sweep. He ducks the mid wall splat. I think he's really respecting the sweep, and he's paying the HP cost for it. Forward 1+2 again. Okay, Heat Burst interrupting Mulgold. LowHigh spends it right. Again, he likes spending the Heat Dash right away, probably for the heal, but I think he could get more value out of the Heat. Because now he's in a bad situation, and Mulgold has a huge lead. Forward 1+2, clipping the sidestep. Hatchet kick. LowHigh, nice, fighting back, frame trapping with the jab, finding the snake eyes string, but the full crouch low, clipping his backdash. He could not get out of range. Mulgold 2 rounds up very quickly. Nice punish on the 1+2-2. No running mix this time, but a forward 1+2. Big surprise. The reason the move is so good is because it tracks sidesteps and sidewalks, and it's a huge mid-range, safe, heat-engaging, heat dash launcher. LowHigh survives all of the stance offense and now has moved Mulgold into the corner. Mulgold tries to orbital, but the punish was missed, and then he converted it into a string. LowHigh converted the missed input into a surprise string that Mulgold got hit by. And now, LowHigh in the lead, pressuring. Down forward ones, interrupt from Mulgold. Scarlet Cyclone is blocked. LowHigh getting in there, another hatchet kick. Down forward one, finds its mark. But LowHigh's back to the wall. No duck in the second of the string, twice, no duck. Forward 1+2 is blocked. He has his turn. He takes it back with some down forward ones. Mulgold with the down back 4. Dashing in, running 2. This time LowHigh ducks. But he blocks the power crush and finds the jet upper. A perfect punish and great patience. LowHigh fighting back. Sidewalk right. Eats the forward 1+2. What's the mix? He eats the mid. He ducked again. And look at this damage. It's going to be catastrophic. The heat string doing like 60%. And that's it! The back 2 connects into the stance for a guaranteed follow-up. And it was, that round was catastrophic. This is not how you want to fight against Clive. Opening with the sidewalk, kills, or makes forward 1+2 kill you. And now his back is nearly to the wall. Running 2 into Phoenix stance, he ducks again, probably respecting the floor break. But if you eat the Phoenix 2 1+2, this is a wall splat. Up 1+2 in heat, converts into this disgusting amount of damage. When LowHigh tries to fight back with a 1-2 into a down forward 1, Mulgold does a simple backdash back 2. And this whiff punish guarantees that follow-up. And insane. That was a Clive round. That was absolutely a Clive round. The Phoenix 2 1+2. The move that wall splatted. The move that's +4 on block. The only counterplay to that move is if you are a character like Jin or Leroy who can strong parry the second hit. But Bryan can't do that, Steve can't do that, who LowHigh has just decided to pivot to. That heat string is probably one of the biggest problems of Clive, in addition to how much control forward 1+2 and 1+2 offer. The tracking, double slash, safe on block. The Phoenix push, 13 frame mid, safe on block. Mulgold is using these moves to great effect, supplemented of course by his defense and his punishment, but he's just getting so much control out of it. Backing up, full crouch low, again getting around Steve's big counter hit back 1, and he parries after the forward 1+2. Even though you give up your turn because it's -8, the parry is on the table. That's what makes Clive so obnoxious. You really can't do a lot against him. You have to play super slow. The clinch grab from Steve, that's the 2 break he just did, pushing Mulgold back to the corner. Running 2 this time, not taking his turn right away, not wanting to get parried. Safe mid, out of the Lionheart stance. Forward 1+2 is blocked. Again, delays taking his turn to avoid the parry. Heat smash from Mulgold. Huge advantage, down 1. He's backdash ducking to get around the counter hit highs. Counter hit throw, but LowHigh breaks it, very cracked. But the while standing 3 clips his backdash, or maybe he did a flash duck. Either way, Mulgold secures the round. LowHigh dashing up. Back 1 again, and now he's going to take his turn with QCF1. Down forward 1. Oh, he got around the parry timing. Down forward 1-2 counter hit. 1-2-1 counter hit and grabs the parry. This is how I think LowHigh needs to play. Really fast in Clive's face and just imposing his strength at Clive's weak area. But if you're a bit slow, that 1+2 will connect. Counter hit back 1. Mulgold getting overwhelmed by LowHigh's range 0 pressure. I think taking advantage of Clive's weaker range 0 is key. Let him do his big moves, get into up close range, and then fight back. But there, the 1+2 outspeeds LowHigh's offense. Forward 1+2, clipping him again. He ducks the throw while standing 1+2 and a wall splat. You hate to see that. Look at this damage. Last hit situation. LowHigh Rager. The damage reduction saved him. He lived with 2 pixels. He's going to get the heal off of the Rage Art. He still has heat available. Now, most players will activate right away with Heat Burst, but LowHigh goes for the Rocket Launcher and gets a huge Heat Engage heal, but he spends the Heat Dash again. We saw that with Bryan before, and look at this. Mulgold gets his own Heat Dash off the 1+2. Forward 1+2. LowHigh goes for low. Forward 1+2. Low again, taking his turn right away. Over here, mix up low again. But the full crouch sword sweep from Mulgold, stealing that round away when LowHigh was mounting a great comeback. These 1+2s from Mulgold, they're all -9, but LowHigh doesn't have a strong mix-up threat unless he goes for that big committal low. He's dashing forward. Mulgold's giving up his turn, but LowHigh's not going for a mix-up immediately. The over here gets caught by the forward 1+2. Okay, there's the Phoenix 2 1+2 string. Tons of fast moves from Mulgold. LowHigh tries to push back with the big mids, but Mulgold just blocks after these oh no. Wall splat. Last hit and the mid ends it. Another Clive round. And that's it. I was going to say Mulgold is just running away using these safe strings, giving up his turn. But unless you apply a mix-up threat, there's nothing for Clive to be afraid of. Look at how he plays this round. Forward 1+2. This is +4, so it's not Steve's turn. Look at this. 1+2. 1+2 again. It's blocked. It's Steve's turn. It's time to run your offense. When you go -9, your opponent gets to play their turn. But LowHigh just goes for plus frames, running 2. Nice evasion on the jab. Now he 1+2s again, +5. And this situation is catastrophic. LowHigh had played so defensively, surviving all the giant mids. And now in this +5 situation, LowHigh finally decides to duck. But I don't think Clive has a super scary low threat here. Instead, forward 2-1, which wall slats, Mulgold has great reason to go for this string. LowHigh didn't duck it like 3 times in the second game on Ortiz Farm. What I think LowHigh had to do, and obviously I'm not in the Korean All-Stars Soup Tekken League, but what I think he had to do is play more like he did in this round. I think this round was crucial. So he does get heat engaged on right away, which is unfortunate. No, sorry. He won this round. This is the round he needed to play like. He stays in Clive's face, right? And now it's his turn. Immediate rocket launcher, disregarding the threat of the parry, because if you force Clive to parry, he's open to being whiff punished and launched. So it's better to interact into the parry early on, I think. Okay, Clive gives up his turn again. What does LowHigh do? Down forward 1, down forward 1. Quick pokes. Clive is, you know, he's strong in all ranges. But if you had to point out a weakness, it would be his range 0. He does not have a 13 frame down forward 1. The 1+2 gives up his turn. There it connects if you're a bit slow. But look at how much mileage LowHigh got out of fighting up close. He won so much HP in this early interaction, these permanent health pokes, right? Look at Mulgold's HP. 2 down forward 1s, the 1-2-1, and he's nearly at half HP. Calling out the parry with the throw puts him in a great position. I think this is how you have to fight against Clive. But we see that LowHigh abandons this approach, and maybe it was because of this situation, right? When he did try to play up close again, right, to force some offense, he goes for a high throw. Mulgold calls it out with a duck. This is high coverage because Steve has the back 1, the 1-2-1, and in this case, the throw is another high. This was a catastrophic situation, and maybe that's why LowHigh started hesitating, because of the disaster that was. Now, to be fair, LowHigh does resume a winning strategy. I do think he spends the heat too soon here. I think the heat dash would be great to end the round, but look at all of that bar LowHigh had. He could have used the clinch grabs. He could have used just the chip threat. There was a lot he could have done with this. But he blows his heat early, and then when Mulgold finds his 1+2, LowHigh has very few ways to fight back. But almost to spit on my commentary here, he does fight back. Now with his back to the corner, he takes his +8 frames, Mulgold's -8, and LowHigh does a big low. Blocks the next forward 1+2, big low again. I think if he played like this right away, the game goes differently. Taking your mix-ups, applying pressure when Mulgold does this big safe move gives you more counterplay later. But LowHigh only does it when he's at 1 pixel, and by the time he could get reward out of it, last pixel, he gets full crouch load. Right idea, not enough resources to apply it. Imagine if he did this kind of gameplay while he had heat. you know? Sure, the low is launch punishable, but he also has more threats to make the mix-up scarier. Now when we go to this final game, Mulgold or LowHigh doesn't take advantage again of the minus frames in the same way that he did before. Obviously, you don't want to get predictable, so that's one factor. But after this forward 1+2, he dash blocks and sidesteps like 3 times. The back one, he's obviously looking to bait Mulgold into getting counter hit, but Mulgold showed he's just going to duck here. Same thing again. The 1+2 goes -9, so after ducking this, he goes -9. What does LowHigh do? He runs at him. Right? That's not as scary. And then once this hit connects, look at Clive running away with this pressure. So, on one hand, I can't speak to LowHigh's Clive experience. I can't speak to how optimized he is in that sense. But I do know that LowHigh and all the Korean players put in a ton of work to develop good counterplay. We saw it with the Claudio match, right? So the fact that Mulgold is spamming these options and LowHigh hasn't found a solution yet could definitely be inexperience, right? There's more experience in Tekken than just knowing your punishes and knowing your sidesteps and things like that. There's the overall game flow strategy. And I think we saw a failure in that area of the game. Obviously, I'm the one sitting at my desk instead of actually playing at that level, but that's my take. Now, I wanted to recap as a little quick tip to send you off with this one Claudio situation, this one Bryan situation. So here, after Claudio does the heat burst, he sidewalks to the left and gets clipped by this homing move. Bryan 1+2. You've probably seen this before. You've probably seen this heat burst connect. What you might not know is this is actually an avoidable follow-up. When Bryan heat bursts here, it's not guaranteed. I have Tekken open. Let me show you what I mean. So I'm Claudio on the right. Woohoo, look at me. And Bryan's going to do this string and then go into heat. Right? There's the range issue, first of all. But there's also the fact that if you tech roll to the right, this move does not connect. Take a look at this. Oops, I can't tech roll fast enough. And that's an issue. You have to tech roll really fast. So I'm mashing the 1 button to tech roll to the background. And unless my timing is really, really fast, I can still get clipped. Like that. So one thing I recommend is if you have a 1+2 bind, mash 1 and 1+2 to get the tech roll to the right faster, right? This is if you're on the player 2 side. If you're on the player 1 side, you need to mash 3 or 3+4, okay? It's a different tech roll depending on the side you're on, and I'll explain why. The reason is Tekken's tech rolls are not directional. It's not like you do your kick buttons and you'll tech roll right. You do your punch buttons, you'll tech roll left. How the game does it is it's foreground and background. So you'll see I'm mashing both kick buttons here. I'll zoom in so you can see the inputs better. Right, mashing both kick buttons to get this tech roll to the right. The reason I do that is because kick buttons are a foreground tech roll where you tech roll towards the camera. Punch buttons are a background tech roll. So when I'm on the player 1 side, the left side, I need to tech roll using the kick buttons to the right. If I'm on the player 2 side, I need to tech roll with the punch buttons. And I need to be fast. Punch buttons, tech roll to the right. It's a bit confusing, but you have to remember foreground and background, okay? Against Bryan's 1+2/2 heat burst, you want to tech roll to the right. So on the player 2 side, let's use your punches. On the player 1 side, let's use your kicks. Hopefully this little tip helps you out in ranked. If you're a Bryan player, you should still go for the follow-up anyways, right? You should still go for the heat burst, because as you saw in the pro level, it still worked. All it takes is the opponent being slow on their tech roll input to get clipped, or to accidentally tech roll the wrong way if they have like a dip in presence of mind, right? So go for it if you're the Bryan player. If you're in ranked, fighting against a Bryan player, go for the tech roll. There's not a lot of cost outside of maybe like a taunt jet upper setup, but most Bryan players are going to go for the heat burst anyways. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Clive is scary. Clive is really annoying. He has so much control. I think that forward 1+2 has to be nerfed. I like the 1+2. I don't want them to nerf that, but I think they will nerf that too. I don't think he's like the most broken character, but he's clearly problematic, and he's presenting problems in terms of strategy for how the top players decide to handle him. I think once people adjust and understand that you need to defend against Clive, kind of like you played Tekken 7, which is a lot of literally standing still, no sidestepping, no jab challenging, nothing like that. You just stand still and block. I think it'll get easier. We saw it a bit with LowHigh Steve. I think there's definitely potential there. But let me know what you think in the comments. I think Clive can definitely be annoying to fight against. Even playing as him can get dry because the options you need to throw out are just kind of the same thing over and over again. Still a fan of the character. Hopefully after some adjustments, I'll enjoy playing him more. But that's my take. Let me know what you think. Leave a like if you enjoyed this. If you have nothing to say in the comments, leave an emoji. That helps me a ton. Subscribe for more, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.